This is the Running Channel podcast with two lazy bones over here, Sarah Hartley, who's not running a marathon, Rick Kelsey, not running a marathon, and me, Andy Baddeley, who next week is going to be running my first ever marathon. So today's episode is all about all of the advice that I've been given, the advice that you've sent me, and also that these guys have been giving me, and also, I guess, my plans for the marathon and how my training's been going. So 1 week to go. Let's get stuck in.
It's all about you.
It is, isn't it? Lazy bones. We've been lazy all our life. You've been lazy for the last, how many years?
41.
Lazy bones. Do you know? Right, look, we're not going to touch on this because there is a whole other episode which probably explains why we're looking a bit tired. But me and Rick put in a solid shift running home for Christmas. We'll come on to this a little bit later.
A lot more than you're about to run.
Yeah.
Sarah and I individually ran.
Yeah.
Yep, congratulations.
Yeah.
Well done. I'm very proud.
And
I just wanted to sneak
living in the
in.
back of a van.
Normally, Sarah writes these introductions, but I just thought I'd go a bit off script there, and I could see you both looking very cross with me. So
I'll tell you what, I'm writing it again next
Never
week.
been called lazy by him before.
No.
This is a man who'll get a lift up 2 steps.
Yeah. Hey, you got to protect your legs for what's coming up. So that's the thing. No, we have done something really exciting. So I think in the news section we'll touch on that a little bit. But today's episode is all about taking on a marathon. And so I've had lots of amazing advice. You guys in the last few years have been given advice as well, and I've experienced it. And then I'm hoping that I can see which one of these actually work out for me. But yeah, I'm running a marathon next week. I'm absolutely terrified. We've touched on it a few weeks ago that I'd had a real crisis of confidence after one of my longest runs. And that was that then I sort of felt like I'd clawed it back by not focusing so much on the pace. But as it gets closer, I can't help but think about like the paces I've got to run.
Shall we start there then? How are you feeling? Do you feel ready? Were you expecting to feel like this?
Oh, that's 3 questions. How am I feeling? Worried and excited, probably in equal measure. So I'm really excited to get out there. And I'm hoping that, I used to have this experience, but only for 3 or 4 minutes, that how much the kind of excitement of race day adds. Like I would always feel terrible in the build up in training. Yeah. I'd be running 200 meter efforts at the pace that I needed to run for a mile, so 8 of them. And be like, oh my God, this is flat out. This is literally as hard as I can go. How can I possibly do this for 8 times as far? And I know that that's how I'm going to feel throughout this week as I do my like last few taper runs. Yeah. So I'm sort of, at least I've had that experience. But then I'm excited for the lift that I'll get on race day to like ultimately get me through it.
And the weather looks good, Andy.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Do you remember what I told you about the highs and lows at this time of year in Valencia?
Yeah, you did.
Do you remember?
No.
12 to 17, I think.
Very
15
good.
to 17, yeah.
Very
12 to 17,
Hey,
lovely.
it's all filed away in
So
here.
it looks like you're going to be running
Good.
in 15, 16 degrees when the race starts, which is a nice temperature to run a marathon in.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a vest and arm warmers. That's my plan at the moment. Vest and arm sleeves.
Watch out, you're going to see Andy Baddeley's shoulders.
Yeah, I know. It's I've got
They've been out for a while.
bit of a problem because my biceps are so puny that I need to get.
And your arm warmer's going to fall down.
Yeah. I need to get some.
You know, like
Some spare
people back
pairs.
in the day when my dad had them. Maybe people still use them. The clips for bicycles, where if your trousers are a bit baggy, you can get a bicycle clip.
Yeah.
Do you need that for the top
I
of
do.
your arm?
No, I've got a pair, but like, it's
Attach them to your ears.
It's a trade-off. Yeah, like I need arm warmer suspenders. You can get sock suspenders.
I don't think you're going to need them. I think it's going to be warmer than you think.
Yeah, well, I need to prepare for all eventualities. That's the main piece of
I
advice.
tell you what,
I've had
I
is,
am
like, be prepared.
excited for the bit of video where it's Andy just riffing off the arm warmers.
Yeah, I might not be able to get them off, so I've either got to go for some that are loose that they'll fall down, or so tight that they're going to cut circulation off of my elbows. So,
Are we going to stick together, Sarah, to watch him, or are we going to go to different places?
Well, so
Are you going to bother being out on the course? I thought you were just going to be like sat back in the suite,
Gabbing
in the hotel.
o'clock.
Yeah, 8 a.m.
I think
it's an early start.
Yeah, so
Is it 8 a.m. start?
Yeah, I think my wave is sometime between 8 and 8:30. Yeah.
So I've been doing a bit of a plan because Rick gets a holiday. I have to produce the video.
Yes.
And
for anyone, we haven't even said it, but for anyone late to the party, this is Valencia Marathon that I'm running. So.
Yeah, Valencia Marathon. The course is really good from a filming perspective.
Oh,
so
excellent.
a little
Priorities.
bit of behind the scenes here. So it is myself. Freddie is filming with you, so he's out on the course.
Yes.
He's just casually running
I know,
a
he's just gonna run
marathon
alongside
at your
me and
pace
film.
and he'll probably get water and stuff. So we've got GoPro footage of you going the whole way around.
Yeah.
Then me and Tom, it's my job to make sure that Tom can get to all the different points in the race. So I've been having a look, and currently my plan is that in Valencia they have those little like electric scooters.
Yes.
Or
they're so much fun.
We need to kill ourselves on those in
Budapest. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they seemed, I mean,
they've taken the speed limits off in Budapest.
It would actually be really great if, like in Budapest, they don't have the same speed limits as in London, because some of the timings are quite tight. But essentially, hopefully it's easy to get out of the start-finish area. And then our plan is to come at like 5K, 8K, 13K, 26K, 32K.
Oh my gosh, that is a lot of viewing points.
And 40.
That's exciting.
Because it goes all around. And you go around the Old Town. It's a really nice course.
I'll see you at 1 and...
Yeah, and then my plan was to leave Rick at the start.
26.2
I don't have a good history.
It's too much of a liability.
I don't have a good history. At university, we did the same, the Oxford versus Cambridge varsity match, cross country, 12K on Wimbledon Common. Same course every year that I did for 4 years. Actually, I did it, and you used to do a practice race a few weeks before as well. So I'd done that course about 8 times. And it was only about the 7th or 8th time where someone had said to me, he's like, oh yeah, you know, like every year they'd be like, oh, I was supporting at the windmill. I was like, what windmill? Every year. And the last year was the first time I'd seen the windmill. I ran past it.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, don't
worry. So I don't have a good history of taking in my surroundings.
Wearing, your shoes are quite bright, but I'm pretty sure you're wearing head to toe black, everything else.
Yeah, we're going to dress Freddie up really bright so he can spot us.
Oh yeah, Freddie's in neon. Yeah, fine. We'll spot you. It'll be fine. Tom's great at that. He's never missed a finish line.
Yeah. That's a little dig at Tom, isn't it?
Sorry.
He has missed a few finish lines in his
Tom.
time. Yeah. So let's go back to marathon advice, because hopefully someone watching this could take advice from it as well. I've had lots of advice about things that might seem trivial, but short selection. One, chafing.
Oh yeah,
that's important. So, but I've been practicing it in my race day shorts,
2 inches,
and race day underpants.
Are you taking a phone out with you?
No.
Interesting.
I've got no.
Because that's the thing as well, is like, not only choose your race day kit, fill the kit to the same extent that it's going to be. Because I made the mistake with Berlin. I chose my shorts, had worn my shorts, put chafing stuff all where I usually get chafing. Then on the day, put my phone in the side pocket, and for the first time ever, got chafing of my phone.
Really, because of your phone?
Yeah, and literally, I still have a scar from it. Made a hole in my
I don't
head.
ever run with my phone, and I'm not planning on doing it. It is way too heavy. For my shorts, and like, hey, every gram is going to help me out.
Matters,
So I've got a pair of shorts that got a zip pocket on the back and then 2 sort of side pockets. Increasingly, this didn't used to exist, I don't think, 10 years ago. And there's a lot of shorts that you can get now with different pouches for gels and stuff like that. So I can get, I think I'm going to take 6 gels with me. So 2 of them in each of those pockets that I mentioned. So I'm nicely balanced.
Love it. Even weight distribution.
Yeah, exactly. Every 22 grams helps, or whatever, however they are.
You love this. You're all over this. Most people are like, oh, marathon admin. Andy's like, oh, bit of engineering right in there.
It distracts me, as does pace calculations. So, shorts. I have had a lot of people email into the podcast. So thank you very much for emailing into podcast@therunningchannel.com, because I'd had some problems with my hydration. I've suggested actually carrying my own soft flasks. There's loads of people that suggested this, where I think when you're that the cups on the course are difficult to drink from.
Yeah.
And 2, you can forget or miss them and whatever. And then 3, you've got complete control of when you can drink if you're taking your own soft flasks. My plan at the moment is not to take them.
So what are they? Is that the backpack?
If that goes wrong, Andy, there's going to be a lot of people watching and listening to this who are going to say, I told you so.
I wonder what people would say to this, because I want to have the real marathon experience like everybody else. A bit different because I've got someone running with me, filming with me. Yeah. And it's really tempting for me he'll have a little pack on to hold the batteries and stuff. So I could ask Freddie to carry a couple of soft flasks.
I feel like that's cheating.
Well, yeah, I sort of, but it would help me, right? And I don't know whether I'd feel like I might get. It's not very relatable, right? Everyone else doesn't get. The elites get their bottles they got to pick up off the tables. But
yeah, I don't think you should do that, mate.
Yeah, okay. The only thing I not to add more concern to you, but the only thing that I'd be worrying about is, personally, I don't know whether I've never had cramp in a race situation. Yeah. I don't know, but I know Mo did, and when he ran his sub 3 hour earlier this year, his pacers were like helping him get water, but also each pacer carried some salt tablets, just as like just in case that's like a quick cramp. I think a
tablet is different to carrying a backpack full of liquid.
Well,
I'm not going to take salt tablets because I've never tried them before, and I've sort of run out of long runs to do that in. So I'm not going to do anything new, nothing new on race day. But yeah, I need to make sure I drink regularly. I just wanted to pass that on, that I think there are some shorts that almost have bigger waistbands that come up quite high.
360-degree pockets.
Yes, and those are things where you can fit soft flasks in and stuff
Magic
like
pants.
Yeah.
And because you got to also, I know loads of people now might train in like what I'd consider to be an ultra running vest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they'd pop their soft flasks in the front there of water and so on. But you do need to be aware a lot of major marathons won't let you wear one.
Oh, that
from a
was
security perspective.
heartbreaking on Chicago Marathon Day. Lining up, me and Tom knew, so we didn't have them. But the amount of people that had them and were getting turned away.
Yeah, and actually I saw there was a news story about it, wasn't there? Because there was a lady, I think it was in New York, and she has a stoma. So that's like the bag that you might have if you've got Crohn's disease or whatever. If you
stoma bag where you got to take it everywhere with you.
Yeah. And the only way that she can run is with a pack to hold her stoma, I guess.
And she was searched.
Well, no, she. I don't think she made the decision to race in the end. I can't remember the outcome.
Oh, because they tried to take it off her.
Well, no, because she knew that it was banned, and she'd sort of. It was very clear that you wouldn't get through security checkpoints like you're saying in Chicago.
Yeah.
I understand. Obviously you've got horrible things that happened at various from a security perspective at Boston all those years ago. So I do get it. So yeah, I'm planning on carrying everything I can on me. No phone. I'll have my watch. Where I'll be doing the maths on my pacing.
Ooh, are you going to set up pacing on your watch, or are you going to do the maths? Are you going to write it on your arm?
So the time...
You're going to take a pencil with you?
It's not very easy to write in pencil, is it?
Paper?
Freddie, one sec. Just need to do some calculations.
Just going to pull out the clipboard and the pacing chart.
Right, now by my calculations we are.
I'm in two minds. So this is one to be decided, but I like doing the maths, but I know that from 30k plus or 32k plus, when I go into the unknown, then I'm going to be really struggling to compute things. My pacing target time, not to give anything away, is nice round numbers, relatively speaking. So in theory, it should be relatively straightforward, but I don't think it ever works out.
I know it goes funny after 30 kilometers.
Also, one to watch out for is that just because you will be weaving, you need to do the maths from when
across the course K markers, right?
Yeah. So then if you're looking at your watch, I mean, I'm rubbish at maths. So past like 7k in a marathon, I'm not any use to myself.
Well, I have it set so that my average pace for the whole run so far pops up every time it auto laps.
Yeah.
So then I'll know what average pace I am on roughly, and then I'll be able to gauge based on the K markers that I go past as to how far. So that is a good tip. Is one of the other tips that I've been given and we've spoken about in the podcast is GPS drift, and also not being able to follow the racing line, and other factors could mean that my watch could beep and say 5k, and then 200 meters later I could actually run through 5k.
It's painful.
I think
it's always under. It's always the watch which is under compared to the K markers.
Yeah. And then you're just like, right, I could probably get from here to there in like 10 seconds. And then you look down and you're like, oh, that was 25. Oh no. So one thing I would say though, that is the best thing ever at the expo is that the Chicago Expo, you could get a temporary tattoo of like...
Of your time.
So at the expo, people had like on their whole forearm, they had like sub 3:30, and then that had all of the either like mile or 5k splits all the way down. And then I was joking with someone, I was like, if you get that, you're gonna get that for real tattooed.
that would just freak me out. That would just freak me out.
And you can get like wristbands as well.
So I think timing is something. So we've talked about kind of nutrition and then getting all my stuff on. I also getting my stuff into my shorts, for example. Then I'm going to be mic'd up, which is a slightly unusual situation that most marathon runners don't have to deal with. Tom was worrying about me wearing a vest and how easy that's going to be, but we'll work it out. And then I need to have enough kit on that I can take off on the start line because it's going to be cold. I'm not quite sure how long we're going to be held there for. So all of this stuff is the scary unknowns.
So much admin. And
then we've talked about paranoia before on the podcast. You mentioned it to me, and I definitely feel more conscious of the different aches and pains in my body at the moment. Mine and Rick's good friend Ben, we've mentioned a few times. He gets a lot of shout outs on the podcast.
Doesn't he? He's lucky.
Hope everyone else doesn't feel like they're missing out.
Number one Australian fan.
We should get Ben on.
Yes, we should. I think we should. He has sent it in a question as well. It just hasn't quite made it through yet through the producer's scrutiny. Maybe it's too rude. But he sent to me the other day. He said, I meant what I say yesterday. We've been exchanging messages before and after my runs and stuff like that. About niggles. Ignore them. It's your brain playing tricks on your body. Drink lots of water, gels every 25 to 30 minutes, embrace the atmosphere, and then after 32k, or he uses an expletive, or whenever you start to feel not very good. Let's say that. He says, don't feel ashamed about chucking earpods in with your most epic tunes. So that was his like little pep talk almost, that like he's experienced it because he did his first marathon a month or so ago.
Just don't forget about recording the content, Andy.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that as soon as we talked about the headphones.
Most important thing.
Are you going to let me wear headphones?
No.
So I've got to just be like totally present.
You can
the whole
have
time.
one in. I just personally find if I've taken headphones in a marathon, or I guess open air, if I've taken headphones in a marathon, you're not only thinking about your race, but in our weird world, you're also thinking about filming.
Yeah.
So, no.
But Andy, I also think headphones in a marathon really ruin the marathon experience.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah,
I know what Ben's talking about there when he talks about, if you're really down at the end and like, if you've ever run London, you get to that point near the end where you run through an underground tunnel for about a mile and you're thinking, right, I need to pick me up here because this is a low point. Mm-hmm. But I think in general, because this is your first, you will have so many people cheering you on, and Sarah's going to be somehow in 42 different places on the course at 42 different times.
I'll just scream at you. I'll sing at you.
You're going to have so much support, and you're going to be buzzing, and you're going to want to take it in. So I would say to anyone, to be honest, to be clear of headphones.
Okay, so we're talking about that point where you might realise you need to pick me up. Mm-hmm. That's 32k is going to be the longest I've run. So I know the last 10k is completely unknown territory for me, and that's the thing that terrifies me. You've said to me before, 30k is halfway.
Yeah.
So that's scary.
Yeah.
I know it's not mathematically halfway, but in terms of mentally and physically how it's going to feel.
I think that's the moment that's the moment that I both love and hate, because it is the moment in a marathon where you learn the most about yourself. So it's like I don't
want to learn anything about myself. I'm comfortable not knowing what happens in that situation.
No, but I think in that moment you need to find, like, you've got time now. You're running less. You've got a little bit more time before you get to race day. This is the time.
Too much time to think about it. That's the problem.
But this is the time where you go like, okay, in that moment, what's the song that I would want to listen to? And just forcing yourself to sing it in your head. That means that you have to be remembering lyrics. That will take your mind off it. Sing it aloud. People will do that. We'll just try. We won't film it. It won't make the cut.
We're filming everything.
Yeah, it probably won't get put in. But then also that's the point where mantras are the most important, or like just have a look around at that moment and see if there's anyone around you who's running for charity, or like any signs that you can cling on to. But for me, when it gets hard, that's when I put Kelly Clarkson's Breakaway on in my head.
I don't know how that goes. How's that go, Sarah? Sarah
the one where it's like really high.
Just before you sing it, I'll let you get it back, and then I'm going to ask you to sing it.
Brilliant.
Everyone needs to remember that Sarah Hartley is a trained a cappella singer, and there is video evidence of this.
Trained a cappella singer?
Yeah.
As in she sings without music?
Yeah, so look, I used to do a cappella
Isn't
at
that just a singer?
Oh no, but what I'm trying to do is make the point. I want to make the point here that everybody who's listening and watching could go and search out Sarah Hartley at Birmingham University's A Cappella Society. Brilliant. There's definitely evidence on YouTube to go and watch this. So check it out.
Look, the Kelly Clarkson song. Just look up Breakaway.
If
Kelly
you want
Clarkson.
one other YouTube channel in your life.
I spread my wings and I learn how to fly.
Oh yeah, good.
That was half-hearted, but yes.
Yeah.
So she has got a lovely voice. I'm not sure that was the best.
That's what kicks in for you in the low moments.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to have to be chunking, because I have already experienced I know it's not singing, but in the long run, I really alternated, even in the space of a few 100 meters, from like, oh my God, I can't finish, to I feel good again. And then back again, like yo-yoing. So if I was focused on running another 5 or 10k, that would have been really difficult. But I was just like, I'm going to get to that lamppost, I'm going to get to that corner, I'm going to get to that person with that sign, I'm going to try and keep it with this person in front of me. Those are the things that I'm hoping I can cling on to and can switch back into that kind of one step at a time, 1 kilometer at a time, 100 meters at a time mentality, and then just keep ticking it off.
You'll get there. You'll get there. And then what are your immediate plans for after?
I've got to record a podcast with you guys where you're going to give me we're going to have the full, unadulterated, possibly with swearing, I don't know, we'll try and bleep it out, because I'll be so unable to make a coherent sentence.
Don't worry.
On now, just thinking about it.
Or you might feel amazing.
Yeah.
Elated. I'm hoping I'm going to feel elated.
You might feel amazing.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you know what? I think this week is actually going to be, you'll probably look back and this might be the hardest, because I just remember the week before running London, I was just worried about knocking my knee on a desk. I was worried about
smashed my knee on the oven the other day.
tweaking a twist going down the stairs.
Yeah.
You know, I was worried about, what's that pain in my head? And then I got a dodgy stomach 2 nights before, and I was like, oh my God, this is just awful. I think in some ways the week before, and actually, remember, Andy, when you get there on the start line on Sunday, it is Sunday, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Glad you know.
Yeah.
Didn't know what time it started. You know what the temperature's going to be. That's all you care about.
Going to be. Glad I booked the right flight. You know, when you get there, you've done all the hard work, mate, when you get there on Sunday. And I know this is a first for you, but you've run Olympic finals. You've delivered in the top, highest physical peak condition that you've had to do before in your life. You're there, you're trained, you're ready, you're focused. And Sarah and I believe that on the day, you can do it. Just put your back into it.
And in the nicest possible way, we're probably going to ignore you now until race day because you're going to be a nightmare.
Okay. You are going to be a nightmare.
That's fair. I'll ignore you until we turn up on a flight, and then Rick and I both berate you because we're travelling with you, which means we'll be delayed by a whole day.
Or have to get 3 different flights to go to one location.
Don't you worry. I'm on a separate flight, separate seat. Don't want to be anywhere near that.
Good.
You and your arm sleeves can have all the room that you want. Right. Well, best of luck, Andy.
Thank you.
And now it's time to go on to news and questions.
News time then. What a week it's been. Flipping heck, Sarah. I mean, we're not going to touch too much this week, but 360 kilometres.
It's a bit more Running Channel news this week. We, along with the other Running Channel presenters, ran from what you're looking at right now, if you're watching the podcast, the Running Channel office in London, all the way up to Rick's mum's house in Liverpool.
No, the Wirral. The Wirral. Really important.
That is kind of Liverpool, though, isn't it?
It's a different geographical and political area.
Right.
Also, it's worth saying it's not. I know you didn't say it there, but even when they report on the news about the Wirral, everyone will say in the Wirral, but it's on the Wirral. Just, on the Wirral. It's a very clear distinction.
You would have thought by now that I would know this, having run there. But no, managed to block all of this out.
All the way to the Paradise Peninsula.
It was absolutely heartbreaking to cover that distance, but it was incredible. We filmed the whole thing.
So as a relay, all the presenters together.
So it started.
My shoulder's still numb from sleeping in the back of a car.
It was... Yeah, it was, I think, one of the hardest things we've ever done as a channel, but also one of the most rewarding. And it's going to make an absolutely incredible video. And you know what else is going to make an incredible video? Our tired little selves trying to record a podcast afterwards. So you got that to look forward to next week.
Yeah, and then the Valencia Marathon debrief will be the following week.
Yeah, it's all go. It is all go.
It's crazy. And all you need to do, like the reason we're doing it is we're raising money for charity and awareness. We're also trying to get as many people as possible around the world just to go out and run in December. Mm-hmm. So we were running home for Christmas. You could choose to do that, running home for Christmas, or you could just choose to run as much as you can in December. Pledge your miles to us by joining us. It's completely free. You just head to runninghomeforchristmas.com or you'll be able to find it on the Running Channel website as well. And that gives you all of the details you need. We're not asking you to pay us anything like that. And if you do sign up, then you get a chance to win these amazing prizes as well.
Just tell us your miles. Tell us your miles.
What's so exciting is that last year on Christmas Day, we hit 500,000 kilometres. That was our kind of big target for last year. Anna ran home for Christmas last year. This year, we've upped the ante. We've upped the mileage or kilometerage. We're aiming for 1 million. 1 million kilometres. So
run by the Running Channel community all around the world.
Yeah, so we need you because we've already run quite a long way, and that was in November, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
What's a stupid idea? But now we need you. So please go and sign up. If you run, every single kilometre will go into that totaliser. If you want to raise money as well, £1 equals 10 kilometres. So literally every little helps. Please help us raise this target, and along the way you can win some incredible prizes. So go to runninghomeforchristmas.com, check out what they are. Grand prize is a very good, cool marathon. A
VIP trip to Amsterdam Marathon. I think we can say that.
I mean, very exciting. I just never realised how many canals and fields there were in Great Britain.
Yeah,
that was my big problem. I just wanted to stop and look at them all.
That's why it took us 10 days.
That's why we're still here in January.
Yeah. It's actually 2025 now.
Yeah. But we'd like to hear about if you want to get involved in any way, big or small. Let us know. podcast@therunningchannel.com or in touch with us on DMs on any of the Running Channel social media platforms. And we would love to hear. We'll share it. We'll talk about it on here. This is for everybody. So
yes, I think actually let's do a list of shout outs of people. Like if you are doing any distance, let us know. We've already had one person, Andrew, who was in a video that we did last year at Berlin Marathon. He did his own running home for Christmas and it was incredible. So well done. Let us know if you're planning to do it.
podcast@therunningchannel.com, runninghomeforchristmas.com. They're the things you need to remember. Now, on to your questions.
Kicking off with Jessica from Dallas. I've got a question about the different types of super shoes. Is there a difference between shoes with carbon plates and carbon rods? Is one more stable than the other? And can you do more sessions in one than the other? Okay, I only heard hands up of carbon rods for the first time a couple of weeks ago when we did our Running Channel 10K in London. What is a rod compared to just a plate?
Well, one is a plate and the other one is like a rod. So
I'm just going to run the other way home from Christmas.
So no,
back to work.
That's the kind of factual information people are looking for.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Really just dive into the crux of the matter. So the carbon plate sits between layers of foam, and it runs the full. Actually, that's not true. Some of them it's only part of the foot, but most cases it runs from heel to toe, sandwiched between layers of foam.
Yeah.
Whereas the carbon rod system, which I don't know how many brands use this system. I know that Adidas use it. So, and I don't know whether they did it in a direct response to the fact that when super shoes kicked off originally, Nike would have had the patent for their shape and curvature and type of carbon plate. So I don't know whether Adidas they were like, right, we need to not infringe on this. So we're going to do rods, or whether they thought that was genuinely the best route forward. But either way, that's their route. And so instead of having one single plate that runs the length, they have a series of rods that are of different, I don't know, different thicknesses, different stiffnesses.
Okay.
But they're trying to do the same thing, which is add stiffness to a foam that is inherently very soft and bouncy.
To propel you forward.
Yes,
so
exactly.
they both do the same thing, but do we know if one's better than the other?
I don't think it's necessarily better than the other. In terms of, Jessica asked, can you do more sessions in one or the other? I think what actually will determine the amount of sessions is the outsole of the shoe. Like that will determine its kind of lifespan, whereas the carbon plate, they'll be really similar. Essentially, every brand has done it slightly differently in order to get the fastest shoe. In fact,
and because they're not allowed to copy each other's curvature of the...
Yeah, and they'll all be like slightly differently patented. We're now seeing like illegal shoes where the stack height's even higher. We're probably going to start seeing shoes where carbon plates are becoming illegal because you're only allowed one plate currently per shoe. So we might now start to see high stack height illegal shoes that can't be used in competition that might have like 1, 2, 3 plates.
It's
10,
coming, isn't it?
11.
It is coming.
That's actually interesting though. You're only allowed one carbon plate, but then you're allowed multiple rods.
Yeah, I think that.
But I guess it's the layering.
It's going to be the amount of carbon. There's going to be a limit on the amount of carbon in a shoe, isn't there?
Well, ultimately, I think that's the way we'll go to. Yeah.
If you're a size 3, you need less carbon than if you're a size 10.
That is a good point.
Yeah. Just to finalise the answer to the question, one is the durability. Sarah's right. Like the durability of will be more effective by the foam compound and by the amount of rubber outsole on the bottom. Often the more extreme, really expensive shoes have very little grip and rubber on the bottom in order to save weight. So they're possibly going to be the least durable because they're set up for real performance. So actually sometimes if you come down the price points a little bit within each brand, you'll get a shoe which is designed for racing and training, has more grip, more outsole on it, and also might have a slightly more durable foam used because people expect to get kind of better value at that in that part of the kind of the market. So that's probably what I would say.
Yeah.
And then stability wise, it's really personal depending on, like if someone's got a really narrow foot and buys a really wide super shoe, then it's not going to feel very stable for them. Similarly, if you've got a wide foot and buy a narrow super shoe. So you need to find the one that feels right for you.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because I've just realised why when that recent world record was broken and she said at the end when she broke it that, you know, they're basically one-time use shoes because there was such little grip on the bottom, which means you just have to chuck them and then you've got the environmental issue of chucking shoes for every race. So like Andy says, you go down the price point and you find somewhere in between.
Yeah, like usually what people would describe as like your tempo shoe. You can get like a carbon, it's still got a carbon plate in it, but your outsole's better. I also find that they're more supportive at the top because the manufacturer hasn't tried to shave as much weight. So you've got more like
your foot's more locked in, isn't it? Because the upper's a bit more substantial. There we go.
Paul from Aberdeen. For a runner of my pace, a 44-minute 10 kilometre, the threshold and tempo training paces are quite close. 4 minutes 31 a kilometre, and 4 minutes 44 a kilometre. When I complete a session, I find it very difficult to keep the exact pace required, and often find a tempo session was really a threshold session. Is this a significant issue? Do you have any advice on keeping to exact paces? Do my threshold and tempo paces seem about right? And could you differentiate the different goals for a tempo and a threshold session? I think that last question basically sums it all up.
Sarah's got her hand up. She wants to go.
I've forgotten because it's been so long since I've written this script, but one of them is...
I think that was, what on earth is lactate threshold?
So, okay, a threshold...
Sarah's testing her memory. It's like an exam.
A threshold pace is what you can sustain for like up to an hour. So your threshold session is probably going to be like around 45 minutes. Then a tempo session is slightly slower. So you often find that in marathon training because you can hold it for slightly longer.
That's correct. Yeah, I think an hour at threshold will be hard.
Okay.
But yeah,
bit less.
But you're right. Like the tempo is slightly slower than threshold. So threshold, you're almost running up to the point where you would start tipping over from aerobic into anaerobic, but you just below it. So you're staying aerobic. And the point of both, so the main point of both sessions is to stay as like fully aerobic and not go into like interval session territory where you can't clear out the lactate that accumulates in your body quick enough. So it builds up. There's not a massive difference, I suppose, in the goal of each. They're just one's faster than the other, and so they'll have slightly different. So it's quite a hard one to answer, but you need to run a bit further in a tempo effort than you do in a threshold effort because it's slightly slower. So that's a key distinction. I wouldn't worry about them being so close together because ultimately he said 4:31 and 4:44, so it's almost 15 seconds.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like loads, but then over a half marathon, that's 5 minutes.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so that is quite a big. Like if you said to someone, "Oh, we're going to run 5 minutes faster than your half marathon PB," like, I can't do that. That's a lot. So the quicker that you go, the smaller the window between different paces becomes, and therefore it feels like it's harder to hit those paces exactly.
Do you think it's better then to just think of them as like, as long as you keep the threshold run shorter, if that is your intention, than if you're doing a tempo run, make it slightly longer, and then you'll gradually dial into those paces a bit more?
Yeah, so exactly that. And then I think that's the key, is practicing the paces. And most people don't have this luxury, but as a pro, I would have had a very specific route I used for my threshold, and deliberately it was very flat. So it's completely in my control, the pacing. And so like you could start by doing threshold or tempo intervals on a track so that you really do dial into it, because yes, it's only 15 seconds per kilometre difference, but that ends up being 6 seconds per 400 meters, which at this pace is quite a lot.
Yeah.
Or if you have access to a treadmill, I know a lot of people who do it on a treadmill, because then you don't have to worry about the pace and you can start to learn it.
Yeah, that could be a good way as well. I think you just need to bear in mind the transition. When you eventually run outside, it'll feel totally different.
Yeah. Good question though, Paul.
Really
Love
good
that
question. Well, you know what? There's just a few days to go, Andy. On behalf of me and Sarah, good luck.
Thank you
good
very
luck.
much.
You've got this.
But before we go, Sarah's got a favour to ask.
Yes,
I have got a favour to ask. In celebration of the fact that Andy's about to run his first marathon, I would like you to send this to one person so that we can get as many people to cheer Andy on as possible. If you're watching this on YouTube, drop a comment below saying good luck. If you are listening to this, pop it in your WhatsApp group and share the love that Andy is running his first marathon. And good luck, you've got it.
Thank you. This is changing my life, but we're trying to change people's lives through running. Hopefully that doesn't sound too trite, but that's what we're trying to do at the running channel. So yeah, if we can reach as many people as possible, let's do it.
Bye.
And we'll see you next time.